Okay, are we back on? We're back. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let's do this now. Okay, back to my Zoom. So don't make your Zoom updates before you're about to go live. I have a very anxious dog over here too. He's very excited about this. He's very excited. Say hello, Presley, but you have to let me use my hands. All right, so here we go. Get my presentation over here. I'm really excited you guys could join me. As I mentioned, since I think I've got a couple of different people on here before I had to restart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go live actually each day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 3 p.m. And then on Thursday and Friday, it's going to be 9 a.m. So those were, I think, two of the top choices in the poll, and also what works for my schedule here. So I'm really excited to do this with you all. And please, I've had a few questions about sharing this. This is a free group and a free training. And the idea behind this is really all about positivity, social sanity, and making sure that people really understand the options we have, not only technically and functionally, but are aware of some of the tools that I've been using, that I know some coaches focus on to really help just get that mindset in order when using social media. So please do feel free to share this with people to join the group. You can share the link. You can go in and invite people. I am all for it. So please do that. So today, our first day, I want to talk about changing our echo chamber. But before I do that, I first want to sort of get into a discussion of why I decided to do this. So why am I doing this? Well, what I realized in a lot of the work that I do with clients is that I am constantly working with clients on the best things that they can do to stay focused and productive in their work. But what I also started to realize was that those things are also the very same things that people can do to avoid distraction, not just for their productivity in their business, but also actually as anxiety reducers, as staying out of the rabbit hole, for stopping the doom scrolling that we're constantly doing. What I've really seen during this time is, and straight up during this COVID time, when people are working from home, they are forced to do things differently. We really are at a time where people need to use social media to do their business. They really need to. I've worked with realtors, people in the fitness world, people who own retail shops, all of these things, all of these people really need to be out there on social media, using it effectively to continue to do their business, or to continue to sell, or perhaps to start a new business. Yet at the very same time that we have this elevated really requirement to use social media for our business, we're also faced with the greatest onslaught of negativity and divisiveness and advertising, and really an overall anxiety. Social media anxiety is a real thing. And I can be honest and frank with you all in saying that sometimes I doubt my chosen profession, because I have a really hard time with it myself. I am officially ADHD. I've been diagnosed in childhood and in my 40s. I also have struggled with anxiety. And we all also go through times in our lives where things affect us differently, and we may have a different level of capacity to actually deal with certain things. And if that's actually affecting our business at a time like this, well, I just can't have that. So why I'm doing this is because I've experienced this all in my own business. I've experienced this as just a human, living through social media. And I want to bring some of these tips and tactics to you all through this challenge. So why did I call it this? Well, I think it's kind of obvious that we're all seeking social media sanity, correct? But let's take a look at what that actually means, right? So sanity actually means the ability to think and behave in a normal and rational manner. So how many of you, give me a little thumbs up or a thumb emoji in the comments, feel like social media has actually prevented a lot of scenarios in which we're able to behave in a normal and rational manner, right? I can admit that I have gone down the rabbit hole. I have experienced doom scrolling. I have done all of these things that I think most of us have done, where we've gotten caught up in something that we don't need to be caught up in, right? There's anger, there's frustration, there's sadness, there's reading and trying to learn more and educate ourselves on things. And it takes us away from our purpose. So if, I'm looking at this from the perspective as a business owner and a person who is experiencing social media as a way to stay connected with friends and family. And that's really what we need right now. But we also need the ability to think and behave in a normal and rational manner. And give me a wave or a note in the comments or a thumb up if you have had the opportunity to watch The Social Dilemma yet. It is really something that most of us in the world of digital marketing, and most people too who have been using social media for quite a while, really knew was happening. But I think this documentary really exposes the deeper level at which we've been targeted with really intentional psychological manipulation. So if you haven't watched this yet, I highly recommend that you do. And hopefully this challenge is a great way for you to deal with the surprise and shock and perhaps anger that comes as a result of it. But I think what is also really important to understand is just knowing what this is about. And some of the things that I'm going to be sharing today and throughout the course of the week is really intended to be a way to reclaim our power, reclaim that mindset, reclaim our willpower over the algorithms that have been designed to suck us in. We are the product, right? So the advertising is happening. The algorithm is learning about us to keep us on the channel, because the more we're there, the more money the social channel gets paid. So one of the great quotes I thought was very interesting. I don't know if it's a great quote, but an enlightening quote from The Social Dilemma was Tristan Harris, who is an ex-Google employee who has since moved on from there and become the co-founder and president of the Center for Humane Technology. Everything he experienced in his work at Google he wanted to bring back a focus of ethics and doing things from the greater good in the world of technology. And what he says in this Social Dilemma is there are entire teams of engineers whose job it is to use your psychology against you. And that's exactly what's happening. So one of the things that I introduced this really quickly in an inspired moment in the group, but I don't think many people saw it, but I do want to go over it again and more specifically in a live that will live in the presentation also as part of our challenge for day one. And that's the STOP method. And it sounds very simple, but I actually just started doing this because what I found myself doing was, as I was trying to do something with intention for my own business or for a client's business or just for my own work that I'm doing, I would start to get distracted. I would start to go down that rabbit hole. And I would be on my phone and I literally would just be like, stop. And I would have to say it out loud. In my head, I could say stop, but I would still be doing this, right? So I just started saying out loud, stop. Even if I was in the elevator in my building or outside with people walking by, I just had to do it. And then something came to me actually, was that there's actually some meaning behind that. And I want you guys to try this as you find yourself getting sucked in. And so the stop is literally just stop. Stop this, stop. Take your hands off the phone, set the phone down if you can, put it in your pocket, in your bag, and stop. Because you can feel that awareness in your body, or you can tell that, oh my God, what I am doing is not intentional and not on purpose. So the next thing then is to take a deep breath, right? If we're in that phase, if we're in that place on social media, we are scrolling, we're getting mad, maybe we're starting to read comments from people we've never even heard of and don't matter in our lives, take a deep breath. Or it could be, this is another problem that I have as well, and I know a lot of people do too. Active learning. I'm working with coaches, I'm taking programs, I'm trying to educate myself on different tools and experts. And then once you're doing that, more of that stuff pops up at you. And it's like, well, maybe I need what this guy has, and maybe I need to learn what she's offering, and maybe I need to, no, right? You already are armed with what you need. So whether it's doom scrolling, whether it's I need to learn more, whatever it is, it's an anxiety. So stop, take a deep breath. And then the next thing, because that breath allows us to start to think more rationally, right? Like sanity, then think about what the opportunity is here. Is there really an opportunity? Or am I just getting mad? Or am I just getting triggered? Or am I just getting flustered? Or am I just starting to doubt myself and think that I need to do more to create what I'm trying to create? So is there really an opportunity in that, in what you're doing in that moment? Or is it actually taking you away from what your intention is and what you're doing? And that's the P. Take yourself back to purpose. If you ask yourself the question, is there truly an opportunity in what I'm doing right now? And the answer is no, then come back to your purpose. Why did I come on here? Did I come on here to take a look at some fun pictures from the weekend and engage with some people and give it some hearts and love? Great, do that and then we move on. Did I come in here to do a post on my business page or in my event or promote an ad? Great, do that and move on. Did I come in here to look up something for a client? Great, do that and move on. So achieve your purpose. So stop is very easy and that's intentional. Hopefully it's something you can remember as you start to become aware of your body and the anxiety and use that to actually stop what you're doing and move on to more productive things, whether that's still online or offline. So the next thing I want to talk about, getting into more of the education and training section of this, is the algorithm and how algorithms work in social media. And I think a lot of people who are in this group and watching understand how that works, but I want to make sure that everyone really thoroughly understands how that works and then actually give you some tactical steps to take. Today is challenge 1, tactical steps to take right now after this to get on and make sure that you understand how it's working and that you actually have control over this. So we feed the algorithms signals, right? We tell it what we like, but we also tell it. Here's the thing that we don't really think about this perspective, but Tristan Harris's quote brings this to mind. We feed the algorithm those things that are going to create more anxiety, and thus the doom scrolling and the watching and more conversations that are not serving us, right? Because whether it's something that we love, puppies, your favorite fitness class, your favorite store, your favorite influencer, your favorite speaker, your favorite brand, all of your best friends that you love to communicate with, all of that, the algorithms then know, great, give Sue more of those things. But if I'm starting to get all consumed with a media topic, with a current event, with a trending story that's happening in the news or just in the world, and I'm getting caught up in that, and I'm sitting and watching it, or I go into that thread and I start reading the comments, even if I don't react or comment or share, it actually knows your dwell time. It knows how long you are spending looking at something. So whether it's something that excites me or it's something that incites me, they know. And they're giving you more of it to keep you doing that very thing that you don't want to be doing and want to go back to your purpose. So keep that in mind. And that's why stop is even more important too for this purpose. Stop is important for that sanity moment and break to cut us off. Stop what we're doing, right? Just like you'd say to a dog, stop. Do it to ourselves. But it's also because we are feeding the algorithm. The more we stick on it, the more we click buttons, we're telling it more. So we want to shift that to the things that are going to serve us and shift that to the things that are going to remind us of our purpose. We are creating our echo chamber. So the algorithm knows what you're watching, whether it excites you or incites you. The algorithm definitely knows if you're liking, smileys, hearts, commenting, or sharing content. So that's why we can craft more of it to benefit ourselves. So keep that in mind. This is so important in our day-to-day activities. So some of the things I'm going to show you now is I'm actually going to hop over to Facebook. And probably a lot of you already know some of these things as well. We're going to take it deeper throughout the week, but I think a lot of people know they can do this, but what I'm going to ask of you today, whether this is a new tactic to you or something you've already known, is to actually do it. So my challenge for you today is, one, start with stop and see if that works for you. But two, I want you to take these steps on Facebook. All right. So I'm going to come over and actually open up my Facebook account. I'm going to check here real quick on the comments. As you can hear me there. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, taking a couple. Yes. Yes. Watching all of the psychology tricks. Yep. Yeah. These employees know what's happening. Yep. Yeah. Pattern interrupt. Yes. Thank you for that feedback, Catherine. Exactly. So what I'm going to show you here, and I apologize for anything crazy that just shows up on my Facebook newsfeed. We all know how it works, right? So what I'm going to show you here is, okay, if I'm scrolling, see, this is lovely, things I want to see, my fellow fitness instructors and her store, you know, her location. Okay, there's an ad. This ad knows what I'm up to. And so I'm seeing this guy. I know why I'm seeing it, but I also know I don't need him because I have other people. So I can stop myself, scroll on by. There's my buddy Ruben. So I'm scrolling and I see these things. Now, this is a group that I'm in. And this is one of the things that helps to serve the algorithm with positivity, right? So what I've noticed is as I join groups, so I've got my fitness groups, I've got my business groups. The more I join these groups and participate in these groups, the algorithm is giving me more of the inspiring people in those groups and the positivity from those groups. So that is one way to help control your echo chamber and make it more positive. Facebook is also really pushing a lot of the group use because dark social, it's referred to social media that is not as public as your regular page or a public page, right? So you're interacting in a group where there's a little bit more privacy and you're only seeing those who are also part of the group. Or perhaps you're interacting in stories, so it's a little behind the scenes. Thus, it's alleviating some of that public anxiety, right? So these are all things that I'm showing you that indicate how the algorithm works and can what raise my level of positivity and enjoyment and less doom scrolling. So if I keep scrolling, more things that I like to see, this is an ad, but this makes sense why I'm seeing it. Now, what we can also do is if I say I see something that I just don't like, and of course, babies, we all love babies. I'm going to use this one as an example because it's completely neutral and in no way am I going to hide or mute Lisa, but I'm just going to use this for an example. So if you're on a post, whether it's a topic or just a person that is sharing things that consistently rattle you, right? You don't need to unfriend them, but what you can do is click these three little dots. And maybe you just say, you know what? I need a 30-day break from this person. I like them, they're my friend. It's important I see what they're up to, but I need 30 days, right? So you can do that. The other thing you can do is unfollow. Now that is not going to unfriend the person. The person will not know that you're not that you're intentionally not seeing their content. And if they say to you, hey, why didn't you see that post that I shared about that event I was going to, or this thing that happened in my life? You can just say, you know what, the way the algorithm works and the things I'm involved in, I'm not likely to always see your stuff. So you can email that to me or you can messenger something to me that's important, right? They don't need to know. So this is something I want you guys to do. I want you to, as you scroll through today, as you feel that anxiety welling up or something that frustrates you, or it's just not necessary anymore, find someone that you want to snooze perhaps for 30 days. Find someone you want to unfollow, at least one. Even more if you can, because I'll tell you, this really cleans up the news feed and it starts to allow you to see some more things that are more meaningful and important to you and keep you out of the doom scrolling. Now, of course, the other thing you can do is you can hover on that person and click this little button here to unfriend them. I challenge you to do that with at least one person today as well. I'm sure we've all got them, right? I've done this with family. I have unfriended and blocked my own family because the anxiety that it gave me was so intense. I sometimes couldn't even sleep at night. True honesty there. I could not sleep at night because I was afraid of what I would wake up to. Not just their posts, but things they might add to my posts and what I would wake up and see. It's really hard, but it's an important boundary to set. So I challenge you to unfriend someone, mute someone, and unfollow someone. Okay? So let's see what you can do there. So here's another tip I want to share. And this isn't part of the activities that I would like to see you do on day one of the challenge, but it's certainly something you can do. So of course, I am certainly going to leave Lisa there. I love Lisa. I love her pictures of her babies. These are the happy things. So that was just an example. So if we come back up to where I can see an ad, right? So we're going to look at this. Entrepreneur is sponsoring a certification training. I mean, of course, look at what this is. It makes sense for me. We know that. But if you see something that doesn't make sense for you, you can also check this out. Again, we go to the magical 3 buttons on the top right. We come over here and we can say, all right, why am I seeing this ad? Tell me. And you can actually see the criteria that this business brand person is using to target you. Who am I that I fell into this category of people, right? So this one is pretty broad. So I like their page and I'm over 18, clearly. So you can also take this a little deeper. How does Facebook know this? It identified a group of existing customers that it wanted to use to find similar customers. What does that tell me now? That tells me that I'm part of a lookalike group. Entrepreneur Magazine has said, these are my customers. Now Facebook, make me a much larger group that look like, that have the characteristics and behaviors of my customer. So all these couple of clicks tell me this information, right? And if they annoy me, I can say hide. Again, I'm not going to do that because I like to follow Entrepreneur Magazine anyway, but that is something that you can do. So, and then you can give it feedback as well to say, hey, I like this, or yes, this was helpful. So that's pretty interesting there. You can also then go into change your preferences. So you can click on this little button here and it will take you into another section of Facebook that allows you to craft things a little bit more specifically. So I am being advertised to not only based on pages I like and things I've looked at on other websites and possibly the words that I speak, but my interests. So these are things that Facebook has decided I am interested in. So these are also things that I may or may not actually be interested in. What it may simply mean is, so for example, yes, I like the NPR Facebook page. I do not like the Fox News channel, but I may have interacted with their content. So these are also things that it tells you. So something you can say is, you know what? I really don't want to be advertised to based on some of these interests, because just like I said earlier, our signals are taken in, whether what we're consuming on Facebook is exciting us or inciting us. So you have indicated an interest, even if it pisses you off. So this is a great place to go and say, wow, I interacted with these things, but I certainly don't want to be advertised to because of it, right? So then what I can do is say, nope, take that one out. Okay. And you can do that by seeing more and looking through all of this. So I highly recommend you go through each of these things. I'm not going to do that right now and take up lots of time, but you can just kind of see there's a lot of things in there. You can turn these things on and off. Oh yeah, I get ads for things like Talkify and Match because they see my relationship status. I can turn that off. Ad settings, ad topics, all of these things. Yes, unfollowing is a gift to yourself. I agree. Yes, active unfollowers. I love it. Exactly. So go through these ad settings, see what you are allowing Facebook to do, and see those interests that Facebook is using to use your psychology against you to give you more of the things that are going to cause you to doom scroll. You can also do things here. Social issues, elections, or politics. I want to see fewer of these ads. These are the things that are inciting us, but are taking time, right? So go through this process. Again, we're going to take it all the way back to the main page, and all of the magic is in these 3 little dots. So if it's an ad, you're going to see these options for why am I seeing this, which take you to that advertising section. If it's a friend, that's when you can also go in and find those magic 3 dots and see if you want to change any of those settings as well. Okay, so hopefully that has helped you. Day 1 challenge summary, use the stop method. I would love to hear how that is working for you, if that does work for you, even if it's just to start by saying stop and hear yourself say it. Snap yourself out of that habit and what you're doing. Pattern interrupt, like Catherine said. Then I want you to do some scrolling, and I want you to mute, unfollow, and unfriend someone. This might be hard, and that's exactly why you should do it. Because if I could unfollow and block a family member, I tell you, it was one of the scariest and sad things to do on Facebook, but my life is so much better for it, right? So think about those tough people and set those boundaries and create more peace in your newsfeed. So at least one of each. But then, as I said, when I introduced this challenge, I don't want this to be on a negative note. I don't want you to feel bad like, oh, I just unfriended my, cousin or my neighbor or my son's best friend's mom or whatever that might be. So what I want you to do then is find someone who lifts you up on Facebook and let them know. Thank them. Either go to their timeline and write a note and say, thank you for being a positive light in social media. I love seeing your content. Or if they post something that's happy and uplifting or fun or just nice, make a comment on that post. Let them know. And not me, okay? Don't cheat. That's too easy. That's too easy. I appreciate if you thought of me, but not me, okay? Find somebody else to do that with. And then when you do that, come back to the group, post in the group and let us know how this process felt. Even if it's, you do some unfollowing today and come back the next day and you're like, wow, I'm seeing different things. Because that third step also, when you go out and proactively let people know, hey, this makes me happy. Not only are you making that person feel good, but you're sending Facebook more signals on the happy side of things that you want to see more of. Okay, so those are the things that I'd love to see you do. If you have any more questions on some of these things, like the algorithm, any comments, feedback, some of the things that you do, I would love to hear it. Something else that I'm actually going to do, if you were like, I don't know what to say to people or this is awkward, I've actually created some images that I am going to share in the comments of this Facebook Live that you can grab and just use and put on someone's timeline or put in their comments. So I'm going to share those images with you. Feel free to use those. And I am going to be back tomorrow at the same time. We're going to take things a little bit deeper. I'm going to try and do a little bit on each social channel, as well as talk a little bit from the perspective of just a personal user. All of this does come back to how it affects us psychologically, emotionally, mentally, but as business owners as well. What can we do as a business owner to also reel in our focus? So I'm going to show you a few other tips that you can do on Facebook tomorrow with respect to that. And then we're going to continue always having a mindset tip, a social media tactic that you get into, some education on that, and then having our challenge steps that always are going to result in that positive step. So give me any questions that you have. I'm so glad you could join me. Right? Yes, it helps. It definitely helps. Good. Excellent. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. Yes, yeah. Sit for a minute. I love that, Debbie. Yeah, let things sit. Think about things. It really makes a difference. So I look forward to your feedback. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Hang tight. I'm going to drop those images that you are welcome to use in the comments here for step 3, and come back and post in the group. Let us know what you did. #SocialSanityChallenge, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.